Hello and welcome to episode 34 of the Bunker to Bunker podcast. We have a familiar face here, my brother Justin, who was there with me at the Arnold Palmer, on site, boots on the ground, and was, rides a lot of my picks, but I want to ask you first, do you think this is like an overdue to have you on the podcast? I mean, I've done 34 episodes, started in June. Like, do you think this is like overdue?
Yeah, I feel like it is definitely a little overdue. I'm kind of surprised it took 34 episodes for this to happen, but I am here right now, so let's dive into it.
Yeah. I mean, um, we were on the boat, like we were on the same side of everything with the players. We, as the viewers, know I do a one and done pool with Justin and my other brother Jack, who gives no input. He kind of just is, like,
Yeah.
invests his money into it. I can see his face now shaking his head at us talking about this, but yeah, we had Scheffler to win. I had
Yeah.
some money on him to win, which was basically a hedge. But kind of, you were watching a lot of Scottie this weekend. Kind of walk me through just, I guess, like the final round. The
Yeah.
kind of, like, I guess you start with like what happened on, like, his front nine couple holes. Then he holed out. Like, kind of talk, like, what were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so like going into the weekend and like kind of more over for today, like he was still several shots back, and like there were a lot of players between the final group and where he started, because I think he was like three or four groups behind Shoffley and
Yeah,
Clark. So he definitely had to like put the pressure on them, and he finally like got some momentum when he pulled out on, I forget, I think it's five or six, I think, right? Or
I think it was
four.
5. I think,
Yeah,
which I should
so
know.
that kind of got him going a lot. It kind of got the putter hot as well. And I feel like with golf also, like as a whole, it's like, like I'm sure like you and Ethan have discussed like how big of like a mental game it is, and to get some like confidence and momentum going towards like the back nine of a Sunday is so big. And I
Yeah,
just feel like he was like making a ton of putts at the end, and he really put the pressure on Xander, Clark, and Harmon for those final couple holes. So, I said it on my Twitter account that it was probably one of the best golf tournaments I've ever watched. It was
yeah,
very competitive. There were four Ryder Cup uh, USA players that were the
yeah.
top four guys. So it was very
And
competitive and high level.
Fitzpatrick was, fifth. He won
Yeah.
U.S.
And I
Open,
think he
RBC
birdied the
Heritage.
last three holes also. I
Yeah,
think
I
he
mean, yeah.
birdied the
But
last
I
three
think,
holes. So, yeah.
I think what you said is something that I want to visit before we get into Scheffler, since you just said it
Yeah.
about my thoughts on him. But, like, the tour really needed this, like,
Yeah.
so badly. We had what, the first, we've had all these, like, long shot
Yeah.
winners, which have produced good stories, like the Nick
hmm
Dunlap, great story, but like
Yeah.
Pebble, only 54 holes.
Yeah.
The waste
Yeah.
management, good, good kind of a finish, but like the partying of it kind of took away from it.
Yeah.
And Liv kind of went on like a little bit of a run in the golf like Twitter space, but I think this tournament
hmm
with Scheffler
Yeah.
coming back, I think Scheffler's injury helped him too.
Yeah. hmm
What the heck? Did you see that?
Yeah.
They had like
I
a
don't
thumbs
know
down.
what
All
that
right.
was. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But like, I think that this tournament with the big names and how it ended, um, it's honestly it'll probably be hard to top. Like, this is probably the tournament of the year.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's not. Hopefully we get like, a better finish at, like, the Masters, U.S. Open, British Open, whatever. But like, it's pretty hard to top this, and golf really needed
Yeah.
this. At a time, people like were messaging me like, oh, like they bet like Scheffler or like they had Harmon because of me too. So like,
Hmm.
this is definitely like, really interesting to see.
Yeah.
But kind of like with Scheffler again, like like his neck injury came on number two, or no,
Yeah.
the round two. And he was just
On
nagging at
Friday.
it like the
Hmm.
entire time. Ted Scott said, that
Yeah.
he told
I
his
saw
wife
that. Yeah.
that
Hmm.
like he wasn't going to play. Like, you could see that he was like fighting through pain. Like, did you think that he would withdraw, or do you think like he like wasn't going to win
Um,
like because of that?
yeah. I mean, I didn't really have a good read on it. Like, they were just like showing like stuff on like the PGA Tour live
Yeah,
coverage during Friday morning. But I mean, I feel like he was like playing pretty well still, like even through the injury.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised he didn't pull out because he's obviously like very resilient. He's like a proven PGA
yeah,
Tour winner, and he just like loves the game of golf also, and
yeah,
he also like understands how big of a tournament this is. And so that's why I feel like I wasn't surprised. And I believe after his round last night, he was talking to someone after his
hmm
round, and he said that like he felt a lot better on Saturday rather than Friday. So like that kind of like told me
yeah,
that like he was definitely going to play a lot better today, which is Sunday. But I feel like I didn't really expect him to win though, because he was pretty far back, and like Schauffele and Clark are two like cream of the crop guys. They're both
yeah,
playing very well. So that's just my
yeah. I mean,
take on it as a whole.
yeah. I mean, I never thought he would. I mean, we went back and forth with Rome, and I was like, it's just I don't know what the extent of like the neck injury was. I thought he
Yeah.
definitely was comfortable, but like he didn't like shank a shot. Like, he had like
Hmm.
one where he like pulled like a little bit, but like his swing looked the same. I think they showed like his stats. I think like his driving distance like went down. Like, I think round one was
Yeah.
like over like 300 yards. I
Yeah.
think round two was like 286, and then round three was
Yeah.
294. So like you could see, as you said, like he kind of like progressed, but like when you're in contention, the adrenaline is like
Oh,
pumping. I feel like that
yeah.
also helps too. But
100%.
as you said, I want to go back to your point that you said like with when he holed out on number four, it was like he just had to see
Okay.
one go
Yeah.
in, and I thought the same way about that was with like Brian Harmon. So Harmon, like,
Right.
he is one over through six. He parred two, which you can't par a par five. And
Right.
then hole number six, he scrambled to make bogey. And once he made that birdie on seven, he goes birdie on 8, 9, 11. So like
Yeah. I'm looking at it. Yeah.
he gets that stretch.
Hmm.
We both had, so I think as your point, like if you see one go in, like that really is gonna help elevate your game. And I think for Harmon, like to get that confidence was big. I know that I had a ticket 150 to 1. I know you got it at 80 to 1. Which again doesn't really matter now. That I got a better
Hmm.
like number
Yeah.
because he didn't like win, but I still think if I had to like rank like my best golf bets, that's probably one of my greatest golf bets ever. Kind
Yeah.
of
I would say so also. Yeah.
because like his number ended around like 50 to 60, you would say, maybe on
Yeah.
Thursday. I'll have to go back and look,
Hmm.
but
Yeah. I
um,
believe so. Yeah.
what were your walk us through like the last four holes? So he birdies
Yeah.
15,
Like,
obviously par
yeah.
16, or no, par 16, and then misses the putt on 18. Kind of walk me through your thoughts through that.
Yeah. I feel like so he made that nice putt on 15, and then he's going into 16, which obviously is a par five. It was playing as one of the easiest holes on the course, and he just hits like a very bad drive. Like, it was a very weak drive. He like kind of like sliced it into the left pine straw, and he
Hmm
can and then I believe he only hit it like 90 yards down the fairway, and he left himself like
Yeah.
150 into the hole. And like he didn't really attack that pin, like because that pin was really far back there. And I believe like there was like the water like between 16 and 17 like extends behind the green on
Yeah.
16. So I think he's being a little cautious by
Yeah.
doing that because like I'm not sure if Scheffler finished up at that point, but like he probably wasn't like exactly sure what he needed to do.
Yeah. It's true.
But yeah, so like after he parred 16 and then he missed that putt on 17, which is probably like 20 feet. And then, yeah, I mean, and then he just needed to birdie 18 and he actually had like a really good approach shot into 18,
Yeah.
but it got a lot of spin and it really checked up to the front side, which is kind of surprising from the pine straw also. Um, but yeah, I mean, it was a fantastic bet. I only bet it because of you. So
Yeah.
to anyone listening to this, definitely take what Josh says and bet
Yeah.
all of the futures no matter what, because it was insane value at 150 and then even at like 90 and stuff like that. So yeah,
Yeah.
I mean the putt on 18 definitely hurt a lot, but I mean it was a great finish and a great bet overall. So that's what I would
Yeah.
say.
I mean, he definitely went. He gave it all he had. I mean, I
Yeah,
don't know how much he was down when he bogeyed six, but I kind of felt like,
right.
like does he have? Because like Brian Harmon's limitations. He
Right.
is not the sexy golfer. He hits it not
Yeah.
far, but he hits it straight in play, and
Yeah.
he has a great like short game. So like his game isn't sexy. Like he's not. They showed Xander
hmm
and Wyndham Clark. I
Yeah.
wish there was a dream game that it was like how many times they said Wyndham Clark's ball speed, you you'd be gone.
Yes. Yeah.
All they just constantly
Yeah.
like ball speed with him and Xander.
Yeah.
Harmon does
Like
not
they
do
were
that.
like keep
Yeah,
like
yeah, go ahead.
they were keep like saying how like the average ball speed's like 174 and then like he's at 180
Uh,
like five or something
Five,
and then
yeah.
he would like show a shot and it would be like 190 and shit. So yeah, that was definitely I saw that a ton over the
Yeah.
last 4 days. So yeah,
But
that
yeah, I
was fun.
mean, I kind of in the back of my head I was like it'll be hard for Harmon to kind of get in contention and climb. I think just because he shot even during round one, shot 7 under
Yes.
round two, and then shot 8 under round three,
Yeah.
and then he shot 4 under today. So like you know, again, like Harmon, Xander, and Clark did basically whatever they could. Scheffler just did his thing. But I
Yeah.
mean, Harmon has a piece in my heart to go, and I think he keeps proving that. And I think it's a good test that the way that Harmon plays. 'Cause I think everyone's obsessed with
Yeah.
like driving distance, like these kids like Jake
Yeah.
Knapp and Sargent, who's gonna be coming up,
Yeah.
that they hit it so far. But if you don't have like a short game, and if you can't make putts,
hmm
you don't have a chance on this tour.
Yeah.
But obviously there's two more guys we have to get to.
Yeah.
Um, do you want
Let's
to
do
talk about
it.
Xander or Clark first?
Let's talk about Xander because I feel like he has like kind of built like a little bit of a reputation for not being able to close tournaments. Like, for example, like in the Masters a couple of years ago when he hit the ball in the water on 16, like that kind of like started like I don't know what your point of view is on that, but like I know he's a proven PGA Tour winner, but I feel like he's not the best closer when it matters most, because he bogeyed 14 and 15, which kind of put him in like a hole that he had to birdie the last two of the last three holes. And he obviously hit a great shot on 16, and he had like 30 feet for eagle, had a tap in birdie, and then on
Yeah,
17, I know you want to talk about that because he hit a really good shot into
yeah,
17. I think he was like 10 feet, maybe like 8 feet, but it was like a downhill putt and he just couldn't get it done on the last two holes. Yeah. And like he never really had a shot on 18 because he went into the pine straw and then hit it like
yeah.
really deep into that green, had like 40 feet to force a playoff. So yeah, I mean, I kind of want to hear your thoughts on like if Xander should be labeled as like a guy who can't really close like the big tournaments like a lot of these other players like Scheffler and all these other big
And
names
Clark,
can.
Clark,
So,
Clark didn't close tonight, but
uh-huh.
like he's won 3 times in the last
Hmm.
year. Like,
Yeah.
um, my thoughts on Xander are so I they showed a graphic today, or maybe it's on Golf Twitter, I forget, but I think most of his wins are like comeback wins. Because
Yeah.
like like the 2022 Travelers is when Xander came
Yeah.
back, and then Sahith kind of blew up in
Yeah, because he hit the
that bunker.
left.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
He also has won like non-cut events, which are now like a thing now more in golf.
Yes. Hmm.
I think with Xander is that yes, Genesis he kind of crumbled a little bit. Today I don't think he crumbled, but he just standing over that putt, you're like Xander's probably not going to make this. He
Right.
has a world class game. Like the fun part of me is like yeah, like Xander's a loser. Like he won't ever win a major. Blah blah blah. However, like I think if you look at the trajectory of Phil's career, like Xander and like even like a Patrick Cantlay can go on that path. Phil didn't win his first
Hmm.
major until he was
Yeah.
34. He was labeled as that like can't win like a
Yeah.
big
Hmm.
event. Also, Phil's talent and where his career is at this point, and Xander has the talent. I just think he just needs to see one go through. Like I think if he
Yeah.
won like the Players, that would help traject his career. So obviously, you can also say
Hmm.
that like Scheffler, shot 8, under, came out of nowhere. So
Hmm.
I would say that like it's gonna come. Like he's way too talented. He's won way too many times. Can't lay. He's won
Yeah.
way too many times. People just go through those stretches. He's probably one of the more consistent golfers that we've seen on tour.
Yeah.
He didn't win like last year, but like I think he's a guy that will win like once
Yeah.
every year, and we've seen like kind of plateaus, and he's been kind of consistent. But yeah, he has to break through. So that's my point. I think yeah, I'm not really like troubled because he just is like so talented, but um,
Yeah.
it sucks because like we had a ticket on I had a ticket on Scheffler, which is basically a hedge, and then we had him in our one and done pool, which catapulted us like 600 spots. So we
Yeah.
went back to
That
back
was huge.
players with Scheffler. Evan was like, you can't take Scheffler.
Yep.
He's like 35% owned. We did it.
Yeah.
Um, but I think it's with Xander is that it will come. He sets up. I mean, he sets up well at the Masters, U.S. Opens.
Yeah.
I don't think PGAs are the best for him. So I think um, that he will get it done at some point. I just don't know when, especially with Scheffler. But let's get to. Actually, no. Let's get to while we're on Xander. Um, I didn't have any money on him, but I was really pulling for him because of our guy Austin Kaiser.
Yeah.
Um,
Um, like to go back to your point about Xander, I believe I saw a stat that like he's made like 40 straight cuts, I think, or something. It may not have been that high, but I think
I can look it
like
up.
him and Scheffler have like I believe him and Scheffler have the highest current cut streak. Like he's making the cut in these events, and he was definitely, I believe he was the odds-on favorite coming into today's round, and he just didn't
Yes.
get it done. Yeah. So I feel like I agree with you. I feel like he will definitely get it together, and I feel like he's definitely gonna win soon. And I do agree that I think he fits well at Augusta, and that's coming up in 4 weeks here. And it'll be really interesting to see how he places at Augusta, and I feel like that's gonna like set the bar for the rest of his season as well.
Yeah, I'm
But
looking
like,
now
mhm,
about his cut streak.
yeah, I thought I saw something.
It's
It's
not
like
loading.
he had like the most, I think. I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was
I'm trying to go on
something
Rick Run
like
Good
that.
right now. It's not loading. Oh, here it is. The last time he missed the cut, so he's with Drew before at Century
Yeah,
last year. He last cut he
he
missed
did.
was the Masters, which is very funny
Uh-huh.
enough that we're talking about that.
Yeah, so that's probably
Previously
like
from that was the Players,
20.
and
Mm-hmm.
that was 2022. So he hasn't missed a cut, since
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
was still in college when so that was 2 years
Yes.
ago. Or
Like besides Scheffler, I think he's like the most consistent tour player. 100%.
yeah, I think obviously we don't have Rom anymore. But
Yeah.
yeah, if you go by stats wise, like you see a ton of like green of like
Yeah.
everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like he just gained strokes. He gained like so he
Yeah.
gained 3 strokes off the tee, 5 strokes approach, 2.5 around the green, 5 strokes putting. Like
Yeah.
that's gonna win. That's gonna win you every tournament. But Scottie Scheffler just came out um of nowhere. But we have to start. We have to talk about Clark. He kind of what's your assessment of Clark? People are saying like he is now like the Brooks Koepka of the PGA Tour, which I think is like I think we have to pump the brakes a little bit here, but like because of just like he has that energy of Brooks.
Yeah.
What is your assessment of Clark at the Players this week?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like this kind of shows like, I mean, I feel like a lot of golf fans may have agreed with this before this tournament, but I feel like for me, this kind of showed that like he's definitely going to be like a major, major factor in every single big event over the
Yeah.
next several years. Like, I just feel like his ball striking so good, and he makes a lot of putts. And I think, like, we've talked about this a lot. His caddy, John Ellis, and I feel like everyone has seen like him like get the wedge and like stand over
Yeah.
every putt that Wyndham has to see what he thinks, and he's like reading every single putt out for him.
Mhm.
And I think that goes a long way to his development as well. And he's definitely going to be like a high level player the next several years, and I think he's going to be like a staple of the PGA Tour as a whole.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
He
mean he
he has that
he has
like.
that like.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Clark has that like nothing really rattles him. Like he went way left on one hole, got up or maybe not up and down, but like he also he scrambles like very well. Has that same like body language like Brooks that he is a game hunter. Like he wants to like slash like your throat out there, and I think it's just kind of funny going into this tournament. Like I watched the full swing episode of him and kind of how with his mom passing and how he talks with a sports psychologist. Her name is Julie, who I actually saw at the Tour Championship with Max Homa. Because there's just like
Okay.
a lady out there, and I was like, who is this? And then like I put together during like the whole like full swing. So I feel like she might have more professionals calling like her way about like how Clark has like gone
Yeah.
through his whole career, but he's a dog. I think now,
Yeah.
as you said, I think he's gonna be a guy that's always top 15 on like the odds, like leaderboard on like FanDuel, DraftKings, and stuff. And I think he has gained my respect in some regards. Like the U.S. Open wasn't a fluke, and I think that maybe like that's a chip on his shoulder with that. But like, dude, like he could have just. I want to pull up his scorecard, but like he could have easily just he was like down 3. He was
I believe so.
9-17, and he could have just quit. He could have just been deflated, and I think that really shows the growth of what he's doing with with Julie. But like he did not give up, and I have so much respect for that. And he's just a dog for that. I mean, he went on the back 9. I mean, he went on the he was 1 under for his round going into 16. I mean, he had a good chance on 16 for eagle. 17, he puts it to 4 feet, makes that putt. 18, we saw what was your reaction on 18 when that ball goes in?
That was one of the dirtiest lip outs I've ever seen. Like it was almost like a full 360 spin, and that was insane to me. But going back to your point, I feel like we kind of saw that dog mentality by Clark. I'm sure you remember when Clark was in his 3rd round at LACC on 18, he hits the pin and he's fired up and stuff like that, and that kind of set the tone for him to win the following day. And I feel like that showed to the golf fans how much of a dog he is, and how impactful that he's going to be on tour, and he's going to get good results. He's going to win a lot of tournaments on tour. And that shot, or I guess those 2 shots on 16 were crazy. He bombs a drive. I think he only had a 7-iron into that par 5, and he puts it to 10 feet, I think. And that was insane. And I definitely agree with you. He could have just rolled over and quit, but I just feel like he's just a big time player, and he lives for these moments as well. And that definitely showed.
He had 100. He had 187 yards into the green. He had a 341 yard drive, put to 11.5 feet. Missed the putt, but he lives for these moments. He is a dog. Mm-hmm. It's
100%.
It's good to see, and it kind of made it. I think, Scottie making his run, but I think Clark going down and up, him coming back, that 17th hole, with Xander missing and then Clark making a birdie, both of them have a chance with Harman already on 18 about the putt. I forget what they showed first on TV. It's crazy, and I think that Sawgrass gives you that. I think it's a great course. Honestly, I think it's underappreciated in golf. You have the 16th hole par 5 right there next to hole 17, and then hole 18. I think that might be one of the most electric 3-hole stretches in golf that we have.
Yes.
And
100%. Yeah.
It's awesome, and I think that might be the next tournament that we have to go to as kind of a tandem with the boots on the ground and stuff. So it sucks because the year that Dad went was the worst year to go, when there was it was 2022 Cam Smith, which was kind of funny. But I know that my last point before we talk college basketball, because it would be a travesty if I didn't talk hoops with you to get something on the record. So when your team gets out the first round, then I can clip this. But so Patrick McDonald tweeted out a picture. It was of Scottie when it was actually his swing that kind of I think pinched his nerve. Of Scottie doing a weird, he has a weird finish, but it's even more weird than Scottie. So I saw it and I retweeted it. I love Patrick McDonald, one of my favorite followers. Hopefully put him on the podcast soon. But I retweeted saying if like this should be the new player's logo if Sky can go back to back
Mm-hmm.
wins. I'm about to hop the shower after Scotty won, and I get an alert that PGA Tour retweeted my tweet.
Yeah.
Which was surreal.
Crazy.
They retweeted it with the player's logo, but like of Sky doing that weird like finish. And you made a good point because that post did have one bookmark at that time, and it was definitely like the PGA Tour.
It
So
did.
it's kind of sick that happened. Like, it's just so funny, that like they got to like see that and actually post it. Some people like were texting me like, what the heck? Like, I just saw like a PGA Tour post and saw like Josh _ Seagull 8, which is pretty cool to have that. So that's like my first like viral moment, I guess, in the golf community space. So yeah, let's.
And then like I feel like it shouldn't go understated like how many likes that actually has. So like since we're filming this, it's been posted for 3 hours and it has 9,000 likes, 500 retweets, and it got viewed 914,000 times. That is insane, right?
That's the Seagull effect.
Almost a milli on the views.
I was thinking of like posting myself doing that pose. Me doing like this. Like that would have been so funny. But I think just like saying that like I spoke it into existence is pretty funny. I personally didn't really see the bracket that much. Had some other things going on. I don't want to go too much because this is a golf podcast, but I actually just as a brother we'll talk all week about the bracket, but like what stands out, like who's the biggest winner in this based on like the like trajectory, like the path to like the Final Four, and who kind of is like a loser in your eyes with the bracket?
Yeah, so I'm pulling it up. I feel like the first thing that stands out is definitely the upper left region. It's the East region. It has UConn, Iowa State, Auburn, and Illinois. I feel like you can make a case. I mean, obviously, UConn's the best number 1 seed.
Mm-hmm.
And many people are saying that Iowa State was going to get that last number 1 seed because they won the Big 12 and UNC lost in the ACC championship. And the committee has a rule that their number 1, 2 seed cannot be in the same region as their number 1 seed.
Oh.
So they didn't even have Iowa State as their top number 2 seed, and for them to be in the same region as UConn is kind of insane to me. And also, I'm a big fan of Auburn as well. They just won the SEC today, and I feel like I thought that they were going to be a 3 seed, and they're a 4 seed with Illinois as well. So I feel like all 4 of those teams got a bad draw in that side of in that region of the bracket. I feel like
because that they're with UConn, that like it, or is it just because of like
and
Iowa
I feel
State
like
and Iowa State?
And I just feel like as a whole, like I just feel like UConn's a top number 1 seed. I think Iowa State's a top number 2 seed. I think Auburn top number 4 seed, and then I think Illinois, as we saw today, they just won the Big 10. They're a very strong number 3 seed. So I feel like that's going to be a very tough region for all 4 of those teams to get out of. And then going to your second question about like who got like a very favorable draw, I think I'm looking at it now. I think Houston got a really good draw. I don't think because like so they're the 1 seed in the South, and they have Marquette as the 2, Kentucky as the 3, Duke as the 4. And like I don't really think those teams are like as strong as like the teams in the Yukon region, as I just said. So I think Houston has a very good chance to make the Final Four from that. So like those would be like the things that stand out to me the most. And I'm gonna give you my favorite game of the whole first round.
I guess.
Um,
I guess.
yeah, yeah, I think you're probably gonna get it right.
Your
Also,
favorite game.
yeah,
Is it McNeese and Gonzaga?
like I think that's a very good game as well. But I think the Pardon My Take game of
Uh,
Wisconsin versus James
I might
Madison
be there.
is
I might be
a
there.
great game, and you might be there. It's very late on Friday night, so it's going to be a great game starting at like 10 o'clock, I think.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be a very competitive game. I think James Madison will be one of the most popular, like 12 seeds over a five. I feel like that's going to
Yeah.
be a very popular pick. And then I'll just say one more game as well.
Hmm.
If you really want to be entertained by a game, um, wait, I kind of lost it. Yeah, it's a 4 against a 13. So Alabama is playing Charleston. Those are two of the fastest tempo teams in the country. And I believe I saw there's a stat that every time Charleston has eclipsed 80 points, they haven't lost. And that's obviously a stat that means like no team that they've played can like keep pace with them. And obviously Alabama's like the best offense in the whole country. So that's
Yeah.
definitely a game for like more of like the casual viewers to be entertained by. Definitely tune in because that will be a very fun, high paced game.
Yeah. Um, I agree with you. I think as someone like me who I guess since I've always been someone that like if you're in like a big pool, you can't take the favorite because if you're in a big pool, you're in a smaller pool against the people that have the same team that you
Yeah.
have to win.
Hmm.
So I like that UConn
I
has
agree.
ways to if they have that foul like Iowa State, Auburn, Illinois to have that firepower to potentially upset them and not go to like the Final Four. I favor. But before we hop off, just to get your prediction, right now, if you're picking in like a pool, I would say like a bigger pool. Like who do you have to win right now from that
So
standpoint?
obviously, but I'll tell everyone else. I've been really big on Houston over the past couple months now, and they just lost to Iowa State in the Big 12 championship by like 18 points, which obviously isn't a very good look, but I think Houston is my pick right now. It's definitely subject to change, but I
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
like on the record, because I know you want me to say my picks right now on the record, and we can come back to this. I believe it's April 8th, I think. If Houston
yeah.
is cutting down the nets on April 8th in Phoenix, you can call me correct in my prediction because I think Houston gets it done. They are led by I think he's a senior now, Jamal Shed. He's their
Yeah.
point guard. He controls the whole game. They're a very good shooting team as well, and they're obviously like them and Iowa State are the top two defensive teams in the country by far. They're just suffocating on defense, and I feel like Houston can just control every game that they're in and kind of like beat up on teams. They're
Yeah.
super athletic. They've proven Kelvin Sampson, their head coach, he's proven that he can do it in March. He made the Final Four 3 years ago. He made the Elite Eight, he made the Sweet 16, all in the past 3 years. And I think Houston gets it done. And I think a dark horse that has a favorable draw. I mean, I don't know if it's like a dark horse, but I think that Creighton got a really good draw, and I know that
They
you're
did.
a big fan
It's good for us.
them as well. And like I just feel like in that region with like Purdue, Tennessee, Kansas, Gonzaga, I think all of those teams are like kind of trending down right now. And I mean, I know that Creighton lost in the Big East tournament.
Yeah, I was there.
But they have a lot of like veteran players and just like a ton of experienced guys, and they obviously have Kalkbrenner at center, who's won Big East, I think, Defensive Player of the Year three straight times.
3 times.
Yeah, so I feel like if I had to choose like a darker horse team, I would choose Creighton to go pretty far, and I got them at 33-1. And I don't know what they're exactly at right now. I think they're maybe like 28 or like 30-1 because they lost in the Big East tournament. But I also do have a stat. In the past 10 tournaments, only 2 teams that won the national championship also won their conference tournament. So don't be like so harped on like, say like, I mean, like, obviously, like, my pick of Houston lost in the Big 12 championship, but there's definitely, like, a trend of teams also, like, bouncing back from losing the conference tournament. And I forget the teams exactly, but I know that it was Villanova in 2018. And I believe it was Kansas 2 years ago. I think those are the 2 teams in the past 10 years. So
yeah,
that's what I would say.
I mean, like I don't have the Houston feature with you, but I have the Auburn and Creighton. I think just looking at it now, like Creighton, Purdue, Elite Eight, Kalkbrenner, Zach Edey, arguably what they're 2 of the 3 top centers in like the country. The kid from like, UConn's probably third, but yeah. I mean, I definitely will be talking brackets with you, and maybe you should maybe it'd be cool if you like post like your favorite game or something with like stats or something on like Twitter throughout like the week. That'll hit pretty good. But I want to say that it was definitely a fun week. I'm glad that we got another Scheffler win. The Siegel boys are back.
Yep, we are up 600 spots, as Josh said. I believe it was like over 600.
Dude,
so, huge win
like,
for us. Yes.
I want to post something just like of how bad we were, but like we had picked the worst guy out of like the top probably like 5,000 people.
Horrible. Yeah.
Not even close. We got exposed,
really
but like the Hovland one, we were there, boots on the ground, ESPN Plus live.
Yeah.
Exposed the Siegel brothers, but Scheffler got it done. I didn't think it would actually happen, but it did. It's my favorite time of the year. Go Buffs for Ethan, and go Blue Jays for Creighton, and hopefully UConn does not win. But yeah, I think this was a ton of fun. You'll be on a lot more. Obviously, I wanted to find the right time to bring you on. It probably would have been last week, but Ethan hasn't been on in a while, so I let him have the stage there. But I think this will be something good that have you on more, and we'll especially have you on for like, the Masters and other talks. So
and I know as we started out with, it's obviously been a pleasure being on, and I'm sad it took 34 episodes, but I really hope it doesn't take another 34 episodes
you'll be on.
For me to get back on as well.
You'll be back on. Enough. Now I'll have to get Jack on. I'll have to get Jack on to talk about something, but alright. I'm going to end this, and we'll talk to you guys next week.